Hey plant fam! Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jaclynn. This is my jungle. And if you're not new here, thank you for coming back. I appreciate you for still being here. So today I want to do some plant chores with you guys. I am not feeling 100%, but I really need to get these chores done, and I feel like we've really been putting them off. And when I say we, I mean me. And I've got a bunch of mostly Hoya, and I feel like a couple of Anthurium. We'll see what we can get through today that I need to repot and trellis, and I figured we would just chit chat about the plants and whatever while I do that. So I'm gonna get you guys set up so that you can actually see what I'm doing here, hopefully, and then we're gonna get into it. Moved you guys back a little bit, and I raised the table up a little bit so that hopefully you can see what I'm doing. If I need to raise it up some more, we can. So yay, look at us go. All right, I've got a ton of Hoya that are, honestly, this thing's driving me crazy. I want to throw it against the wall. The tendrils are everywhere. This trellis is stupid and broken, and I hate it. I can't stand it. So I'm so irritated. I'm just so irritated right now. So this is my Hoya species Sabah. This is the plant that I've been growing out for quite some time now. I don't know what it's doing. I genuinely, I can't really tell you. And then I got this one as well without realizing that it was the same plant, because they had two different names, and then I realized that the names were actually two names for the same plant. Yay, love it when they do that. So I thought we could just pot them up together and wrangle these around a trellis. I got some newer Hoya in that need to be repotted because this is just in cocoa and it's gonna die. Same with this Lacanosa, variegated Lacanosa that we got recently. It's in cocoa and perlite. It's gonna die if I don't get it into my chunky soil mix, because these cocoa mixes they dry out way too fast for me in my environment. So it's just not a great option. Okay, so let's go through some materials first that we're going to be using. This is one of my mats, my repotting mat by Mats by Cat. I will leave these linked down below for you guys. I have my old Shangad one here that we're using, but I do have this nice new pretty one as well. So if you guys are in the market for a repotting mat, she makes really nice quality ones. I love this pink iridescent that she recently sent me, and I beat these up. Let me tell you, I beat them up good, and they really do hold up well for me. They're also great for just not just repotting, but for any crafty kind of project that you're doing that you want to contain. And then I also got a bunch of clear trellises from her. Some of them are a little bit decorative here, some cutie little soot sprites on the end here. So her daughter actually makes these. She puts these little charms on there. So I got a couple of little charms that I would love to use today, and I also got a bunch without them. So I like a good clear acrylic trellis. They just look aesthetically pleasing in my opinion, because they don't take away from the plant. They're clear. And the bamboo ones are fine too. I really kind of prefer the clear acrylic. So I did pick all of these up off of Palm Street, but she does have a website. So like I said, I'll leave it linked down below for you guys. But if you do catch her on Palm Street, you're gonna get better deals. So if you're over there, make sure you're following her there as well. Okay, what else? Soil. So I'm using my usual soil mix. I'm doing Fox Farm Ocean Forest, Mother Earth number 3 Perlite, and normally I use Orchiata. You guys been seeing me use Orchiata fine orchid bark. Some of that is in there just mixed in already, but because I'm doing Hoya, I am going to mix in chunkier bark. So Hoya do have a lot finer roots than Anthurium do, so I do tend to do a bit more of a chunkier mix on my Hoya versus my Anthurium. My Anthurium get what I call a semi-chunky mix, or more a fine chunky mix, so it's smaller pieces, and then I use the larger chunks of bark and stuff like that for my Hoya and other aroids. So the bark I use when I'm using something a little bit chunkier is this Better Grow Special Orchid Potting Mix. It's literally just bark, charcoal, and coarse perlite. So these are just chunkier pieces than what I'm usually using in here for my anthurium and stuff. So I will mix in a little bit extra of this into my soil mix today as well. I've got some clear pots for my Hoya because I do like to monitor the roots. Hoya like to be in as small of a pot as possible, but this little, like, I think like 3 or 4, no, this is 4-inch is all that I have right now. So hopefully this will do. I might have some stragglers for some of the little ones, but I want to start with this species Sabah because, girl, it's been driving me crazy. I bought this one as RP013 and this one as species Sabah RP013. So it's kind of on me for not realizing that it was a duplicate, but I bought them like years apart in my defense, and I'm just obsessed with like a veiny leaf. So this was always one that was on my radar. So we're gonna get in here. I also have these little clear like hair clips that I'll use to attach the vines to the trellis. But otherwise I think that's all the materials. So definitely gonna be getting rid of this janky thing. And I don't know what to expect with the roots on this one. Had it for a long time, so it should have some nice roots, but Hoya are not known for their giant root systems. Oh, she's looking pretty good. Kind of weird shaped. It looks like her stem was like this is like all stem actually, but it's all rooted across the stem, so I can't really do anything about it. I'm just gonna get as much as this substrate off as possible. I'm not going to go too crazy because I am going from a soil mix to a different soil mix, so I don't really need to worry too much about getting stuff off of the roots. And because the Hoya have such fine roots, I really don't like to mess around with them too much anyway if I don't have to. So there's one. See the roots on this guy. This one I haven't had as long, so I don't expect it to have as established roots. I also like to do this when they're dry. I don't really particularly love touching muddy soil with my fingers. My little fingies. So, you know what? Her roots really aren't that bad. She's got a pretty decent root ball. So I'm not going to go crazy cleaning her up. It's a lot of perlite dust that I don't want to breathe in anyway. I think this one, I don't want to put it in this big pot. I think it should be fine. Will you fit in this? Yeah, I think we could just put this in a 4-incher. Hoya don't like to be in big pots, so I think she'll be nice and snug in this 4-inch pot here. I get these on Amazon. These are from the brand Home Note. I really like their clear pots. They're nice and sturdy. They're not like flimsy. Okay, so I usually just start with a little layer at the bottom here. And then I'm going to place my plants where I want them. And then we're just going to backfill. So let me know if you guys want to start doing like repotting and just like talking about random stuff that doesn't necessarily even have to do with plants. I am kind of elbows deep in like Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni drama right now. So I think it would be fun if you guys ever wanted to do like maybe a live stream where we repot together and we can just talk about music and movies and other things that go on in culture. Because we don't always have to talk about plants, right? I mean, we can do that too. I like talking about plants. I love being able to answer your guys' questions in real time as well. I contemplated doing this as a live stream. So if it's something you'd be interested in, definitely let me know in the comments below. I feel like we can start maybe doing that more regularly. I have a few different size trellises. I think this one's probably too big. I got really big ones and really small ones. I did not get a lot of in-between sized ones, which is very unfortunate because I feel like that would be the best bet. But honestly, this one seems kind of small too. I think we might have to go with the big boy. Big boy. So again, these are from Mats by Kat. They are clear acrylic trellises. She also makes repotting mats and other cute stuff too. So go and check her out. She's located in Worcester, so not far from me. And the thing I like about these is they do come with these little spike tips. You can take them off if you don't want them on your trellis, but I think that they're really helpful for getting in there. And I like that these are bendy, so you can like move them. You can put them in a really tiny pot. Because again, Hoya don't like to be in big pots, so sometimes it can be hard to find trellises that actually fit into smaller pots. So stick this one in here like these. Again, these are just like little hair clips off of Amazon. I like the clear ones because they're just very minimal, but you can get colorful ones. There's ones that are shaped like dragonflies, butterflies, like all cute different things that you can do, but I like the clear ones. Sometimes they're not big enough. These ones are pretty small, so you definitely want to make sure you're getting a little bit of a variety of sizes for the clips. You can also use like gardener's tape. Okay. Hoya like to go around the trellis counterclockwise, and for the longest time I thought that that meant the trellis itself. Like it was meant to go, like if I'm looking at it this way, that it was meant to go counterclockwise, like the way that I wrap it around. But what I realized recently, I had like an aha moment as I was wrapping the vines around the trellis, is that what they actually mean is that when you take the vine of the plant and you wrap it around the trellis, you are supposed to do it counterclockwise because that is how they naturally grow. Look at me figuring stuff out. So counterclockwise means we're going this way around the trellis. So I'm just going to continue to very gently bend these because we don't want to break the stems. It's going to be a little messy at the start. We're just going to want to attach everywhere we can to start. This plant is going to be so heavy for this pot. And this trellis, I cannot get it to do what I want at all. So counterclockwise is the way that we're wrapping it around the trellis itself. Does that make sense now? I feel like I don't know why it took me so long to realize that that's what people actually meant. Okay, so I do want to wrap it like as tight as I can too, because that is how they vine in nature. These leaves are pretty soft and these vines are pretty malleable, thankfully. Some Hoya, if you wait too long to trellis them and you let them grow like carry-eye, you're never going to be able to bend those thick vines around a trellis. So we also want to make sure that all the leaves are kind of like facing out, but they will readjust themselves to face the lighting source. So try not to worry too much about what it looks like as soon as you put it on a trellis. It's not always going to look its best right away. I don't know what to do with this. What is this? What is this vine coming off of here? Like, I don't want to cut it. It's not dead. It's like just so awkward. So get this around here one more time, very gently. And not all these clips are necessarily going to stay. It's just easier to clip as you go so that it holds itself up a little bit better. And eventually we're going to get to a point where we can't really do much more. I don't know what to do with that one. She's kind of just chilling there. Some of them will kind of just wrap around on their own too. You won't really even have to use a clip necessarily. Sometimes they'll just go on their own. This is a little dead piece of the vine here. Snip that off. So, okay. Well, I don't know what to do with this. I just really don't know what to do with this vine. Like, it's so stiff. Ay, ay, ay. I've got to just, like, put it down here, I guess, and wrap it around. That's so funny. I'll see what she does. She might just die back, honestly. Okay, and then we have this little guy down here. So he's not very tall. We're just gonna... I would get him going up the other side, but it's not really working out that way for me. Honestly, I don't know if I can really even attach this one to anything. Might just have to attach that vine over here. Let me see, counterclockwise is this way. Oy. Oy vey. So confused. Okay, that works. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Is it like the best looking thing I've ever done? No. But she's gonna be a lot happier on here than she was on that janky little trellis that I had her on. Just trying to manipulate her to go the way I want her to. But it looks like this trellis is always just going to be a little twisty. And that's fine. So here she is, Hoya species Sabah on a trellis. Does she look amazing? Maybe not, but I'm confident that she'll get there. So eventually, you know, she'll fill this out and start looking a little bit cuter. Putting your Hoya up on a trellis will encourage new growth, so I'm hoping that this is going to encourage new growth and that we are going to get a nice, full, lush plant out of her. So that's plant number one. We will water everything when we're done here. Right, what do we want to do next? I think this one, because she's one of my favorites and she's super thirsty and she's in desperate need of a trellis. I don't want to water her yet until after we repot her. This is my Hoya pubicalyx pink silver ghost, and she's got this really long trellis, so I thought it would be fun. This really long trellis. She's got this really long vine, so I thought it would be fun to get her up on a trellis, so that maybe again she'll grow a little bit more for us. So no idea what her roots are going to look like. Ooh, they're nice. She's got nice roots. You see these? See these nice roots? Wow. Okay. Very gently, just going to get the excess dirt off of here. Don't need to get all of it, honestly. It's mostly just soil and perlite. I just don't want to breathe in the perlite dust. Okay, so let's see. This girl's got a pretty good root ball, so I feel like maybe we could do her in a 4-incher and it won't be bad. She fits real nice in there. You want your Hoya roots to be nice and snug. No plant wants to be root bound, but they do like to be nice and snug. I always say your Hoya like a little like security blanket. They want to be swaddled. They want to feel safe so that they can grow. So hopefully some nice fresh soil for her and a little trellis will encourage some new growth. So same thing again, we're just going to put a little bit in the bottom, a little layer just to cover the bottom of the pot since it's not very deep. We don't want to put too much in the bottom because then you're not going to have enough room for your roots. You want to be able to fully submerge all of those roots and stem down in there. It's just going to look, it's going to look better that way too. Get her nice and snug. You don't want to push down too much on the soil, but you want to gently push down a little. I like to give them a little tappy too to help settle things in. As you water your plant, the soil will settle, so it's normal over time to look like your plant is kind of like eating soil. Every once in a while, I'll just like put some fresh soil on top. Okay, what do we think about, it's one of my favorite plants, so I feel like it needs one of these cutie little decorative trellises. I think is just going to be so cute for it because it's not like a very large plant right now, so I feel like this is going to help just give it a little character, you know? So I like to try to put the trellis in the middle of the pot as much as I can. Position it in there. With bigger pottery, like with bigger pots, I like to put the trellis in before I put all the dirt. But these pots are pretty shallow and this soil is pretty chunky, so it's not actually hard to get the trellis all the way down into the bottom of the pot. But obviously, if you are having trouble getting the trellis all the way down in there, then you're going to want to put the trellis in before you put all the soil in. Okay, counterclockwise goes this way. So glad I finally figured that out. I don't know if I'll really need too many clips for this one because it's just a single vine. So you can just kind of very gently continue to wrap it around. You don't want to force it. It's going to naturally space itself. You don't want to force it to be any like tighter than what it is. And then I'm just going to put one right at the end here and call it good. That one was really easy because it doesn't really have any crazy vines going on. So here she is, my Hoya and pubicalyx pink silver ghost. I'm gonna have to make a tag for her. I know who she is. I'm not gonna forget who she is, but I do like to just be consistent and have tags in all my plants. So we're gonna take one of these and a little Sharpie, and we're just gonna put the name of the plant on here. I got this one from Ginger's greenhouse. She'll have her little tag in there and her little plant. She's so cute with this little trellis. The little soot sprayed on there. Can't stand it. Again, I will be watering and fertilizing all of these plants as soon as we're done here. I have my super growth elixir, obviously the best product you're ever going to use on your Hoya. So I'm going to spray them down with this, and I'm also going to put this in the water. I put it in the water when I water all of my plants as well. Hoya love to foliar feed, so if you're not using super growth elixir, you're actively missing out on Hoya growth. So what's next? I have this little cutie. Also needs to be watered pretty badly, but I didn't want to water her before repotting her. And this is a Hoya that I previously did not know the ID of. Oh my gosh, she's got like dead fungus gnats stuck to her leaves where she was sticky. That's actually really funny because she's right in the window, which is why she's sun stressed. And the fungus gnats are very attracted to the window, I've noticed, because of the light. So I've actually put like sticky traps all over the windows, which is not very aesthetically pleasing, but it's super effective for catching them. And this one's right in the window there too, so she kind of got like some of the second hand on it. But I also have this Leaf Radiance spray. So we're gonna clean her up a little bit as well. I'm just gonna spray her down with this, and then we'll wipe her down in a minute. But this one, I purchased it under the wrong name, so it became a no ID, and then through a bunch of online research and just looking at other plants and observing the way that she's grown and sun stress, I have come to the conclusion that I'm pretty sure she is a Hoya something or other that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, but I'm going to put it on the screen. So I gotta look it up. I wrote it down somewhere and I can't remember now off the top of my head. That's fine. So we are going to repot her and give her her first official proper tag. She hasn't bloomed for me yet, but I'm still fairly confident in her ID. It is one that you guys had said for a while that it could potentially be, but I wasn't really buying it on account of the leaf shape, but now that I've got more leaves, it's a little bit easier to tell. Sometimes it can be really hard with Hoya. Every plant looks slightly different, and IDing them just based off of their foliage can be a little complicated sometimes. I just wipe these leaves down. I normally recommend doing like a microfiber cloth, but all I have is paper towel right now. These Hoya leaves are pretty tough, so it's fine. I pretty much always use paper towel. They're pretty sappy from another plant that's hanging above it, dripping on it. And then the fungus gnats are like, ooh, yummy sap, and then they literally just get stuck to it and they die. Okay, so she's all cleaned up. All cleaned up nice. She's a little wrinkly again because she's thirsty. She's been living in this plastic cup in my care for years now. I got her when I was in Connecticut. She's got some really nice roots. I hope you can see them. But same thing again, guys. We're just gonna very gently try and get as much of this out of here. But I'm pretty sure that I repotted this into this cup. So this is probably my soil. So I'm not going to go too crazy. I just like to break up the roots a little bit. You don't have to, though. I guess she'll also fit in a 4-incher really nicely. So let me know again in the comments, fam, if you have any questions about Hoya Care. I'm more than happy to help you. I have a whole playlist, the Hoya Care playlist on my channel, where I've got lots and lots of videos where I deep dive into like specific things. I have a whole video just on lighting for Hoya, how to get your Hoya to grow, how to get them to bloom, how to repot your Hoya, like what we're doing today, how to propagate your Hoya, like literally everything you could possibly imagine. I have done a video about, and if you still have more questions after checking out that playlist, definitely let me know. So I do have these like smaller ones, but I think it might be too small. And like this big one might be too big. No, honestly, it's not. The large one is probably better for like overtime, which is why I got so many of them. Because eventually they always need to be upgraded to a larger trellis. So I guess it's not a bad idea to just start out with a larger one in general. So we're going to do this literal same thing all over again. I'll show you this way. I'm going to put the trellis in the plant in front of it, around the middle of the pot, on each side there. I'm going to push it all the way down, and I'm going to put the soil down around it. And then we're going to take this vine and we're going to go counterclockwise, which is, hold on, I'm a little dyslexic, this way. So again, it's the way that we're wrapping around the trellis, not which way on the whole entire trellis it's going. So it doesn't matter if it goes up this side or if it goes up this side of the trellis. Do you understand what I'm saying? What's important is that the vine is going counterclockwise around the trellis itself. Oof, did I feel so dumb not being able to figure that out when people said it for the longest time. So just again, very gently wrapping her around. You don't want to force it. You want to allow it the space that it needs. You don't want to try and make it more compact than it wants to be. And I'm just going to put one little clip at the end here because we don't have a ton to hold on to. And that's it. This one actually looks really perfect. Like it's front facing, got its little vine. So hopefully now this encourages the leaves on all of these nodes to actually pop off. So if not, I will propagate her. But this is my cutie little Hoya. I love the way she sun stresses, and I think she's so stinking cute. I just went to go pick this one up and it came right out of the pot. This is one of my little ganunga dings that I just recently got from Gardino Nursery. I do have a larger one, but I wanted another little baby plant and it's so dry. I think I have a smaller pot here, yeah. Let's use this little, I think this is 2 inches, because the 4 inches is going to be way too big for these itty bitty little roots. Get some dirt in there. Shove this guy in. It's very tiny, but it definitely needed to be in my soil mix so we can hold on to moisture longer. I like a soil-based mix for that reason. It just helps my plants hold on to moisture a little bit longer. It's very warm and humid in this room, and they do dry out pretty quickly, so. Hoya ganunga ding, she's super dry and wrinkly, so we are going to give these all a nice good soak. This is my Hoya andreana. I don't know how I'm really going to go about this because she's kind of a cluster, but she needs it. So she's been potted into this tiny little pot for the longest time. We are going to have to put her in something bigger just because she is super top heavy. This is my soil, so I'm not really going to go too crazy taking it off. I'm just going to upgrade her to a 4-inch. So again, Hoya andreana. She's really pretty. Really nice kind of like matte finish to these leaves with a little splash on it. So same thing again. A little bit on the bottom of the pot. We're going to stick this girl in here as deep as we can. Backfill it. Oh, this one's going to be a little tricky. I kind of just want to get rid of this leaf right here. She's pretty damaged, and she's just like a little wonky. She's a little wonky. But we'll see. Get rid of this dead. If there's ever like any little dead pieces of stem, definitely cut those off. They're just ugly. Let's give you a nice big trellis, probably for no reason. This thing barely grows for me. Hopefully this will help. All right. Same thing again. This one's not really going to wrap around anything because it doesn't really have a vine. But I thought it would at least like hold the plant up so that it wasn't flopping over so much anymore, because it was really kind of low-key driving me crazy how floppy she is. Not gonna lie. So I'm just gonna attach this one vine here just to hold her up. And that's really it. She just needed to be like propped up, and she looks a lot better. She's still kind of a straggly, she's a little bit of a mess, but I'm hoping that she's gonna give me some new growth up this way, and that will continue to get some really nice big leaves going up this trellis like this one. So again, this is my Hoya andreana. This one's coming from Lighthouse Hoya down in Florida. You guys haven't, I love them. I haven't bought from them in so long, but they are on Instagram and they have great prices. But honestly, haven't even seen if they've been selling anything. Probably not through the winter. So there you go. So I feel like this Jaclynnosa variegated can stay in this pot. I just want to replace this like cocoa mix that it's in with my soil mix. So I'm going to be really careful because I'm not sure how well rooted this is, and just get rid of this little leaf is like been in the way. I'm sorry. Oh, just a little anthurium baby. We'll probably save the anthurium for a different video because I'm thinking I'll probably title this one for Hoya specifically, since we are talking a bit about Hoya care. So we've got some nice little roots on this. And then we're just going to put her right back in here, but in soil. And when you have a trailing plant like this, it is a good idea to, like how I'm holding it bundled together, these vines, you can even like tie them together, is going to make your life a whole hell of a lot easier. This is not a big plant, but if it was a much larger plant with even more vines, this one only has like 3 or 4 individual vines, you're for sure going to want to tie them up before you unpot them to keep the plant and the shape of the plant and everything together. So with this one, I can just hold it because it's not too big. But for a larger plant, you're definitely going to want to get like some gardener's tape and just wrap up the vines so that you don't drive yourself crazy, because trying to plant individual vines is a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. Okay. She's good. Now I'm really confident, much more confident now, in the longevity of this plant. So I do plan on propagating her. I just want to give her some time to acclimate to her new pot. But I do actually want to grow her as a trailing plant, so I will not be trellising this one. I did a video recently, not too recently, but not too long ago either, about all of the reasons why you might want to trellis a Hoya versus let them trail. The long and short of it is these cute little leaves hang really nicely. They have small internodal spaces and they just look really nice trailing. A lot of these other Hoya that we repotted today would not look great as a... That Lois andreana, did you see the way it was hanging over the pot? Did not look cute, girl. Look way better on a trellis. So it really is mostly aesthetic. They are going to grow better on a trellis. They are epiphytic. They like to climb. But some of them just are more suited to be a trailing plant, in my opinion, which I love Lacanosa as a trailing plant. I love Matilde as a trailing plant. I love my Hushgliana here as a trailing plant. So linearis, things like that. Like there are some that are just meant to trail. They just look better that way. But obviously this would also be beautiful up on a trellis. You can even do both. Like if I wanted to just take some of the vines and trellis some of them and then let some hang, you could do that as well. So it's really just personal preference. But I like her as a trailing plant. I'm just going to give her a little haircut and propagate her, share her with you guys. So if you're not following me over on Palm Street, make sure you do that so that you don't miss out on any of my sales or my live hangs. But I think that is it for today, you guys. Even though I do have a couple more that I would love to repot, I am going to do them off camera. I have this little Susie Q. I have my two that I got from... where was it? Osborne's and Hook set. If you guys remember, I got the Calistophylla Black Cat and the, what are you? Verticillata species Lampung. So these also need to be repotted, but we've been on here for like 45 minutes now. I'm going to edit it down for you guys to be shorter than that, but the file starts to get really big, so you know, we're gonna end it here. And I love you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, you should definitely give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Definitely go and check out the Urban Gardener products. I love them all so much. Obviously, the Super Growth Elixir is my favorite. It's literally empty right now. I have to refill it. They sell large refill bottles, so you can actually use those refill bottles to put in your water, which is what I do, and then also refill your little spray bottle so that you're foliar feeding and feeding the roots. Studies have shown that when you both foliar feed with kelp, which is in here, and the roots, if you feed kelp on the foliage and the roots at the same time, then plants grow exponentially faster across the board. So I thought that was a really interesting little study that I read. These products are all natural, made in America. They've got kelp, vitamin C, lots of other great stuff in it that your plants love, especially your Hoya. I had never considered that plants liked to foliar feed until I got into Hoya, and they love it. So if you're a Hoya head, you probably are because you watched this whole entire video and you're still here listening to me ramble, and you haven't tried the Super Growth Elixir yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Just go try it, girl. I got a discount code for you. You're going to love it. I promise. So I do have that and the Black Cat to repot, but I'm going to spare you guys. They're not going on trellises. They're just going to get repotted really quickly. And yeah, let me know if you want to do this on a live stream instead of in a video format like this. And I am happy to do that. So yeah, I already did the thumbs up thing and all that, so I'm just gonna go and say, if you watched this whole entire video, to leave me whatever. No, let me think of something really obscure. If you watched this whole entire video, leave me a seal emoji, like a sea lion or like some sort of aquatic thing. Anyway, I watched a video of a really funny sea lion this morning and now it's stuck in my head. I love you guys and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.